Hey everyone, I'm Deanna Corby, and I am pretty nervous to make this video. If you've seen my videos in the past, you know that I am a dressage trainer and I make YouTube tutorials on how to improve your riding, how to horse training tips, product reviews, stuff like that. But today I wanted to do a little story time video of a really terrible experience that I had. So I want to tell you about the worst day of my life. I've been thinking a while about making this video because it's very personal and it's very hard to talk about. But this is going to be sort of my way, my form of healing. And maybe in the process, by sharing my story, I can help others in my similar situation heal as well, because I know that when I was going through this, I looked online and looked for articles and videos and stuff like that, and it helped to hear other people's situations. So anyway, today is December 17th, and I was supposed to become a mommy, but that didn't happen because several months ago I had an ectopic pregnancy. So basically that is when the embryo implants itself somewhere where it's not supposed to go. And in my case, it implanted itself in my fallopian tube. Let's back up a little bit. My husband and I have been married for 3 wonderful years, and we planned to try to start a family a little over a year ago, and we were very nervous but excited. And so this was planned. This is something that we wanted, and you know, once you make up your mind to you know, buy a house or move in together or get married or have a child, you're pretty eager for that to happen. And it can take a while though, especially when you're in your 30s. Anyway, we planned this pregnancy, and we're so excited when we found out. I actually took 4 pregnancy tests because I wanted to be absolutely sure. I was kind of in disbelief. So when I got to tell my husband Stephen that we were pregnant, we were very nervous and very excited, and so I pretty much right away went on Etsy and bought some stuff, some baby stuff. We found out at the end of April that we were pregnant, and on Mother's Day we were going to tell our families, but my ectopic pregnancy happened April 30th. And so obviously we didn't make it to Mother's Day, but I had bought all these little gifts and stuff that I was gonna give, but we were gonna give our parents when we told them. So after I had the ectopic pregnancy, I wrote everything down, and in the form of a letter to my husband, because it was a very emotional time, and I wanted to kind of get it down on paper and then just not think about it, or try not to. So I'm gonna open this letter that I wrote my husband. So on the back here it says, "Stephen, read this to remember our history, our memories, good and bad. Please realize and believe me when I say that I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I love you more than words can express. You're my whole world. You're everything to me." Dear Stephen, Sunday, April 30th was the worst day of my life. I woke up with severe abdominal pain after finding out that I was pregnant just 10 days before. We were so surprised and happy, and then in a matter of hours, we were crushed. I felt so sick that Sunday morning, but I wasn't bleeding anywhere, so I thought what I was going through was normal. It wasn't until you called your Aunt Teresa and told her that I was sweating profusely that you insisted that we go to the emergency room. We discovered that my blood pressure was 70/50, and I was bleeding internally from a ruptured fallopian tube. I was about 7 weeks pregnant when we found out the pregnancy was ectopic, stuck in my tube. I was confused and in terrible pain and on the verge of fainting because I was in hypovolemic shock, stage 3. Hypovolemic shock is when you're losing close to half of your blood in your body. Stage 4 of hypovolemic shock, by the way, is basically when you die. Even though I was given morphine in the ER, the ultrasound was so painful physically and emotionally. We were supposed to have our first ultrasound, an official doctor's appointment, on May the 2nd. And we were going to tell our families that we were expecting on Sunday, May 14th, Mother's Day. Instead, we had to go through this. I was squirming in pain during the ultrasound, and your heart was breaking because you were seeing our baby's heartbeat as we were being told everything, including the baby had to be removed in an emergency surgery. You called our families to deliver the heartbreaking news, and only Liz and Juan came and stayed with us at the hospital. After a successful surgery, we were told that I lost half of my blood, 2.5 liters. Had we waited longer to go to the ER, I would have died. This horrible nightmare was so painful. It was the worst day of my life. But in a way, it was also my best day. It brought me closer to you because of how strongly you stood by my side. I'll never forget what you did for me. I am so grateful to you, and I want to spend the rest of my life trying to repay you. I love you more than anyone, and you're the most incredible husband. I gotta take a break. Okay. So anyway, that was my letter to my husband. After we had the ectopic pregnancy, I sort of had a delayed reaction to the whole thing. Actually, I remember laying in the hospital bed and the doctor was saying, yes, we're going to have to take out the embryo and you will no longer be pregnant, and we're also going to have to take out your fallopian tube. I said, I feel so bad. I feel so stupid for saying this, but I remember saying to him, oh, that's too bad. Whereas my husband, when I was getting my ultrasound, he actually heard the baby's heartbeat. So he was like immediately sad and distraught. Whereas I sort of had a delayed reaction because, I was kind of busy trying to not die. And I was in all that, physical pain. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I was really grateful for the people that were there for me at the hospital and right afterwards. those people that came, it just meant it means and it meant a lot to me, that you came, like a lot. I can't tell you the pain that I feel. And it's not there all the time, but you know, when Stephen and I went to a party a little while ago, a couple months ago, I think, and we're in our 30s, so all of our friends have kids or are pregnant or have a kid or a baby or something like that. So we went to this party, and there were every single person there had a kid or was pregnant or had a baby, and I didn't feel like I had that much to contribute to the conversation. But you know, Stephen, he can make a conversation with a brick wall. But anyway, it was just hard being around our friends that we don't really have anything in common with anymore. And one of the most painful things is when we were at that party, someone said to us, they were talking about raising their kids and their babies and stuff like that. Someone said to Stephen, when he was trying to pitch in on the conversation, someone said to Stephen, "Well, you don't understand. You don't have kids." And that just, I started crying, right there. But it's like a knife in the fucking heart. This whole process, it makes me feel like I've been robbed. Like I had something and I was excited about having that thing, and we were ready to have this special thing, and like just beyond excited. And I feel like violated, like I've been robbed of something that was mine. And I feel like sorry for myself a lot. Even though that sounds really weird. But I feel sorry for myself that I lost what we could have had, and I lost my fallopian tube. I also feel scared that that we might not be able to get pregnant again, or that it's gonna take a really fucking long time. There's really nothing anyone can say that makes you feel better about this. I didn't know the severity of what was happening the morning that I went to the emergency room. I thought that it was just, honestly, I didn't want to go to the emergency room or to the hospital at all, because I thought what was happening to me was completely normal, and I honestly thought that everyone would just laugh at me and say, "Oh, you big baby, that's just you being pregnant. That feels like, you have cramps and, your body changes." So I was kind of nervous about going to the hospital, because I thought what was happening was normal. But thank God for Stephen's aunt making me go to the hospital, because I was sweating so profusely. And whenever I would move, like get up or sit down, I would like see a black spot, and then it would get bigger. I'd see a black spot and it would get bigger. And so, because I was losing so much blood, I was close to fainting, and that's what was going on. I felt like so nauseous, and I just felt like a knife was digging into my side. Felt like horrible cramps, and then they would subside a little bit, but it was like flashes of sweating and flashes of feeling okay and flashes of seeing blackness, and the cramps were just really bad. I wanted to share with you one of the things that I ordered in the mail, which by the way kept coming after I had had my ectopic pregnancy. All of this baby shit kept coming in the mail, and I couldn't open it. I just had Steven kind of hide it away from me. But you know, before I show you that, it's sad and true, but it also sort of helps in a way that, you know, when something terrible happens, life still goes on. You know, when I got back from the hospital, Steven's best friend was expecting, and they were having their baby shower, and he actually said, "So is Deanna not going to be able to make it to the baby shower?" No, I didn't go to the baby shower. Like that weekend or something crazy like that. I couldn't actually move very much or, you know, bend down. But I did go shopping online for some baby gifts to be sent to their house, which when you have to do that a couple days after you lose your own baby and fallopian tube and half your blood, that really sucks. Whenever I think about what happened, I can like cry in an instant. I just cry. I'll be brushing my teeth and I think about the experience and I just start crying. And outside of this whole experience, I am like a stone cold killer. I hardly ever cry, and I think my heart might actually be black. But there's something about this experience that just, oh God, just rips, makes my heart hurt. Going through an experience like this is one of the types of pains that gets better on the outside, but it never really gets better all the way on the inside. It just sort of changes different kinds of feelings. You know, you go through horrible pain and sadness. You go through anger and frustration, and I guess all the different types of forms of grief, the stages of grief. And certain things give you certain memories, certain conversations bring back thoughts, and it never really gets easy. It just gets different. There's this famous short story that I'm reminded of when I see some of the things that I bought after I found out that I was pregnant, that I see now, and it just tears at me. The short story is something like, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn."